adults, O9ers, PCHers, private detectives, junior private detectives, and especially revenge porn victims to Life on Mars, the Veronica Mars Rewatch podcast. We go through episode by episode. I'm Brenton.
And I'm Emily.
And we're here to talk about episode 20, MAD, Mutually Assured Destruction.
Mad. This one makes me mad.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to apologize real quick up front. I am having a horrible day with allergies, so if I have extra sniffles, I apologize.
Oh, my little sniffleupagus.
Yes. But sorry, mad.
Yeah. This episode makes me mad. We should just start at the beginning and rip the
Don't
band.
even. Was it God. Yeah, I guess it's good to start at the beginning. We'll start at the beginning.
It was like misogyny, homophobia. Let me count the ways.
Ah, there you go. Yeah. All wrapped up in a nice one tad package.
Yeah. So we start the episode with Veronica working on her car.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the entire parking lot being stuck behind her.
Yeah,
her car died.
I wrote that is the smallest
Parking lot?
or lane to get in, like driveway.
Yeah.
For the entire student body to be able to get in and out. Although, I think that would probably happen in the old parking lot that used to be at my school, but that one only fit 200 people. And, out of a school of 4,000, and probably you could say, even if a half of those drove, there was like nowhere near enough spots, so I never parked there. My sister, I think, got a minor scrape with someone there.
I doubt more than 2,000 kids went to my high school at most. I would be surprised. I think my graduating class was 300, but I think we have like a 3/5 drop or a 2/5 dropout rate.
Solid.
So I would say we probably come in with 500 and drop to 300.
Okay.
But they added another school my like junior or senior year, but we were too old for it. One of those.
Yeah, there was another school, but like not really. Like La Costa, it's like technically in the same town, but like no, not when I was in high school. They've added other schools since then. Art school, I think, but
Ooh.
that I think also is more focused. So I still think it's like probably a ginormous school in terms of student body. But yeah, we just parked all over the neighborhood. That's really what it was. Or people tried to, or the Mormons got to park in their church that was across the street. Or he tried to park in the parking lot, which, like I said, only fit 200. So I never did. But this would probably happen. That was my point. Looping back around, this would probably happen because that was a small parking lot.
Yeah, I have no idea how many cars fit in that parking
Uh-huh.
lot. So Veronica is working on her car because it's not working.
Mm-hmm.
And this is our first introduction to Beaver, really, isn't it?
Yep, I wrote that down. I'm like, first sighting of beaver. Well, first beaver sighting.
So we see
Beaver tracker.
Logan.
Mm-hmm.
We see
Dick.
And then his little brother
Richard.
Cassidy,
Mm-hmm.
who goes by Beaver.
Goes by Beaver, yes.
I
I don't even think they mentioned that they're brothers in this
No,
episode.
I didn't know they were brothers when we first watched this until like a couple episodes from now.
Yeah, probably in season 2 at some point. Or, I don't know. At some point they probably bring it up. Maybe before the season ends.
But the boys are talking shit.
Mm-hmm.
The Casablancas boys.
Yep.
The two brothers. And Veronica does their entire conversation back to them, but with significantly more sass and that air of like, oh yeah, I can work on a car, you can't.
Right. And they eat their hats, and Logan is very happy.
Yes, and Logan's eating an apple, cutting it with a pocket knife.
Yeah, I believe so.
So she takes his knife to then cut the hose to stick it back on in her car to fix the alternator. That's what it was, because she tells Weevil that. I did not identify that looking at the car.
Oh, I was gonna say, I'm like, wow, so cool. Like, I'm like, I wouldn't know first thing about it. You would know more about
Veronica,
cars than I do.
I did take auto shop, because it was either art, stagecraft, or auto shop, and the drama kids hated me at that point, and I didn't think I could draw, so I took auto. And had a great time. Me and like two other girls, mostly boys. And I got to work on the teacher's car because I was the only me and one of the other girls, because the boys took things apart to the point of destruction. That entire class was us taking old cars apart.
That's really cool.
So like people donated like literal lemons. And then so we'd go out to these cars and
make lemonade.
I remember looking at our teacher, Mr. Congdon. Hope he's still doing well.
Mm-hmm.
It was his last year. He was retiring. And we had this old car, like just like an old like beat up like mom car. And he was like, what do you want to do to it? And I was like, well, I think I want a sunroof. And so we took a Sawzall out and we cut the hole in the ceiling.
That's really fun.
And then he's like, okay, take the seats out. And so like I had to figure out how to take the seats out. And then we took the airbag out and then he blew it up for us. Because you had
really
to be
cool too.
You have to be really careful when you take airbags out because
they
go
pop.
off.
Yeah.
So he took it out and then he was like, do you want me to set it off? And I was like, yeah, I do.
It was low-key terrifying, I'm sure.
Well, so he set it off like at one end of the yard and then we were all on the other end.
Oh, right. But still, I'm sure hearing the like boom.
I mean, yeah, it's cool though.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
The car only had one airbag though, so that tells you what year it was.
Oh, boy.
Only the driver.
Only the driver. Yeah. Priorities, I guess. The ones who got into this mess are the only one walking away.
Exactly. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really liked that class.
That is cool. Yeah, I know zero about cars.
I can change disc and drum brakes.
Hey, there you go.
You know how many times that's been useful? A grand total of 0, except for in that class.
I can change oil now. Thanks to your backing it up. I can change oil now, thanks to your stepfather.
Oh, I had to learn that before I was allowed to get my permit.
Yeah,
doesn't make any sense. You know how many times I've had to change the car's oil? 0. I mean, I've helped a couple times, but like I personally have never had to sit down and do it myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds about right.
But I know how. Joke's on him. I didn't want to drive. I hate driving.
Well, good thing you found me, even if I don't know.
You don't know how to fix the car, but you can drive it.
Oh, yeah.
You can drive like a son of a bitch.
You beat me to it.
Well, you can't. You can drive stick.
I can.
It's a dying skill set.
It is.
I will say I've dated multiple guys who've driven stick, and I don't know how I like.
Must be a type.
What kind of? Besides that, there are no similarities, obviously, right. Since I am not still dating either of them.
Do they all wear Did they all wear driving gloves also?
No, and that's what makes you special.
Thank
and
you.
the bonnet.
Yes. The Saturn is a pristine vehicle, and it needs to stay that way.
But enough about my boyfriends. Let's go to a really toxic one named Tad.
Yes. Sorry.
That's where we are, right?
Yeah, you're right.
So we flash over to Tad and his girlfriend Carla, and Carla's like...
Carmen?
I thought it was
Carmen.
Carla. I wrote down Carla.
Carmen.
That's bad. Because
let me
I didn't
make sure
catch her name
this.
the first time, so then I wrote it down later.
Carmen.
Oh, shit.
Yep.
Well, apologies, Carmen. Carmen's breaking up with him, and he's like, okay, that's fine, but if you want to do it, I'm going to send everyone this dirty video I took on my tiny-ass phone of you naked in a hot tub sucking on a popsicle, pretending like it's a blowjob, which to me, I'm like, your voice is in it. Is it not weird enough that you took this?
Yeah, totally, but that's not the... In high school, that was never the point, right?
Which is why I was never blackmailed.
Right. Like, there were kids that, like, sent around, like, pictures they took of, like...
Their girlfriends?
Yeah, their girlfriends, like, doing stuff. And, like, in hindsight, it's just like, what? Really? I
only ever received pictures of penises that I did not request.
Yeah. My life has been lousy with men that are like, hey, want to see this picture of my girlfriend?
Oh, yuck.
Yeah.
Well, and I only hope, I don't really think there's much of me that could go around, so.
No. Hey, you want to see this picture of my girlfriend and my dog?
Oh, no, I meant in high school.
Oh, in high school. Okay.
It's like, you.
Yeah, nothing on my phone.
Oh, here she is. She's holding the dog.
Yep. Oh, this is us on a trip.
Oh, she's wearing a bathing suit.
Yeah, you want to see this picture? We were in Napa.
We just love wine.
Yeah. Oh, we're being silly with silly hats in this one.
Yeah, I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah.
That was always my thing.
Mm-hmm.
But he tries to revenge porn her, which I'm like, oh God, 2004.
Totally. Yeah, I mean... I mean, it's obviously way before that's even a term. So I don't blame her for feeling 100% stuck.
Oh no, yeah, for sure, she's
Yeah.
fucked. Like, and I think if that had happened in high school, I don't want to say to me, but to like anyone in my life, I would not be surprised that they were stuck.
Totally. Yeah.
I personally would have gone the Veronica route, which is problematic because
Right.
it doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. But honestly, her most effective recourse in terms of like getting back at him, there's no legal precedent for this. And even if there was, like, she would be protracted, and it would probably not end up.
She's a minor.
True, but it probably wouldn't end up in her favor anyway. Just because I'm assuming he's also a minor. But
yeah, but if you are distributing child porn as a minor, it's still. Is it a felony? I think it's a felony.
Gotcha.
But if you are distributing your own pictures as a minor, that's fine. So, like, I could send a picture of me at 17, but if you sent a picture of me at 17 and you were also 17,
Gotcha.
you are now distributing child porn.
Yeah. Eesh. Could see that.
Which I believe is why nothing ever happened to me in this regard.
Right.
I was like, hello, felonies.
Uh-huh. I know a lawyer. Well, pre-lawyer, actually.
Yeah, but I mean, I still knew a lawyer, her father.
Well, right. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, but honestly, like it seems like a pretty easy way. It's like, well, this will be an easy way to get back at him. Like that's probably the best way you could have done it.
I feel like I would have tried to, because he was going to the Navy. I would have been like,
Mm-hmm.
I will tell the Navy that you are distributing child porn.
Right. Yeah. Tell Annapolis.
But that's assuming she's 18. If she's not 18, which I would assume, because that video was taken the summer before.
Yes.
So she would not be 18 unless she stayed back a year.
A year. Yeah. Which, realm of possibility, probably not.
Yeah, it doesn't seem likely for that character.
No. And he, if we're going to do minor nitpicks on top of just him being an awful human, I had the weirdest preppy outfits that he had all the time. This scene, he's wearing a cardigan over a button-up, and it's just like, all right, man, like, Preppy McPepperson here.
Yeah.
And I will continue to highlight as we go through my notes.
Ooh, you really went into the fashion this time.
Yeah, it was just him. There was just some confusing fashion choices with cargo pants and things.
Well, then we get Veronica and Logan making out in the bathroom.
Actually, wait. Real quick before we move on. He's like, tries to hand her the CD, and she's just like, I don't want another mix. It's just like every girl Heather probably around this time. I made you a mix. Like, oh God. Okay, add it to the stack of.
Quit writing songs for me. They're not good.
Right, exactly. Just like, oh, cool, another mix of like emo songs. Great, thank you. I already have Blink-182 CDs. Like, I know all this music.
Then we get Veronica and Logan making out in the locker room.
The
locker room? The bathroom. The girls' bathroom.
The locker room. I put no making out in your office.
She does use that as an office.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's just her private office, then why not a little budding romance?
That's true.
And
I'm just saying, don't shit where you eat. That assuming it works for her, I guess.
yeah, I was like, what? It's a bathroom. Like, what are you trying to do here with this joke?
Just when you're in Veronica's office, you got to be professional. I don't care if people take dumps in there.
Yeah, but she was running the show.
I know.
I love that relationship. It
Some
makes me
decorum.
so mad that we don't just get like a nice, easy, clean relationship with them. Like, it has to be so tumultuous because I'm like, they're such good sparring partners.
By the end of the episode, it's already like,
blown
cool. Up. Yeah, exactly.
But like, it makes me so mad because I'm just like, they don't need the drama to still be good sparring partners.
Totally.
Like, the episodes where they work together in like later seasons are just like, I'm like, oh yeah, like, what if we had this the whole fucking time, Rob Thomas?
Yeah. Yep.
Dear writer's room, it's me, Emily.
I need you to do some reshoots.
Yeah. Also, I know what happens at the very end, and I reject.
Yes.
I
understand.
So,
No need to get ahead of ourselves.
So Veronica and Logan are talking about how their relationship is hush-hush because they don't want Dunky to find out. before one of them tells them.
And they do another annoying TV trope. I don't like the term "so wrong it's right." I don't know why.
You really have an issue with this.
There's just another.
You've had an issue with this since they first made out. Like, oh, we're doing something. Like, I don't know what we're doing. It's that same concept.
Because they're not. Yeah.
Because you like them together and you want them to just be okay with being together.
I just don't like the term "so wrong it's right." It seems really cheesy to me. In a bad way, because there's other times where they have funny repartee and it's not so wrong it's right. Or what was the other one? What are we doing?
I don't know.
Yeah, I hate that. Sorry.
It makes me laugh.
It's just a lifelong time of watching TV and movies.
Do you think it's because we're about to dig deep here. Do you think it's because when we consume this kind of media at the age that this was targeted for, which is like teenagers, like impressionable, then that is an expectation on guys to be able to uphold that peace and like that cheesiness, and also then be able to move back into that kind of like sparring partner position and like have that like elusive, mysterious relationship, but still being like, it's impossible to be all of the things. Yeah,
maybe. I think you're on to something, because I think the times where they do say things that are like witty back and forth that are funny, or like you know, horny for each other kind of stuff, where it's like where they're like being playful. I think this reads like a line. Both of them do. Like, oh, this is so wrong it's right. Like, that's something like a cheesy dude would say, and I think that's where it gets in my brain.
And I'm assuming that you've never had relations with cheesy dudes.
No, I can't stand them.
Not even fondue?
No.
You fond out?
Right. They're, we're making out and they say this is so wrong it's right. I'm like, okay, take a hike.
What about cheesy women? Like if the roles were switched?
It'd probably be weird too.
Like, I mean, at this point, it'd be really weird if I was
right.
So wrong it's right. You're like,
what do you mean?
6 years.
Yeah, there'd be a lot to unpack there if you said that. Wait, hold on. Excuse me. Can you explain that?
But I just wonder. Yeah, it's interesting.
Mm-hmm. I think it just reads like a line.
Like a rom-com.
Yeah, and there you go, and looping back around, because it just like pops up a lot of places, and it's just like, all right, like we can retire that one.
Got you. So we have that. Logan goes to physics, and then Veronica's like, "Hey, Wallace, I need you to help me with something," and he's like, "Our parents were making out on the couch again."
I know. Why doesn't he go spend the night at Veronica's?
I don't know.
Just like, hey, like, I'm gonna head out if you guys are gonna be making out here.
Yeah, and also like,
I don't want to have to suffer in the room and pretend like y'all aren't making out in here.
Yeah, he could just go sleep in Keith's room and know
exactly.
that his mother's boyfriend is staying over.
Although Wallace, probably just knowing Wallace, he'd probably sleep on the couch.
Yeah.
He wouldn't feel that he could take ownership of and like just sleep in Keith's bed.
I mean, I would.
I know.
I'm like that though.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Wallace is like, oh God, our parents, like, I'm scarred for life, and Veronica's like, and what do they do on Tuesday nights that involve a duffel bag? Which was my favorite unveiling in the entire show.
Oh, totally.
And so then he's like, oh God, I don't want to know. And Veronica's like, I need you to help me drop this phone in this guy's bag because Tad's a real fucking asshole.
Yeah. Understatement.
And so she drops the cell phone in his bag, and then they have class, and Veronica walks in, and she talks on the phone in study hall, and so he'll take her phone away, and then she calls the phone in Tad's bag, so she makes Tad put his phone away, because the teacher's the equal opportunity confiscator, and apparently your phone got taken away if it rang.
I mean, it just seems like a strict teacher move. Like, this teacher, it's like, hey, you're in study hall? Like,
One time a phone went off during my SATs.
Oh.
And we almost all had our test thrown away.
Yeah, that's awful. That is ridiculous.
Cried.
Yeah.
I had just finished my essay.
I would scream.
And it was my retake. Like, because you know how you can take it more than
right.
once.
And you're like, I'm not doing this again.
Yeah, I was like, I'm sorry. Number 2.
This is not my fault.
Yeah.
I knew someone who cheated on both the ACT and the SAT. And they got horrible scores on the SAT because apparently it's really hard to cheat on.
Yeah.
And ACT, they got like a 34.
How do you cheat on the SAT?
I don't know. He did bad, so you can't.
Yeah.
He got like a 1600. Out of which at the time was out of 24.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have to give us this.
Because I don't know the rubric nowadays.
Well, 1600 isn't bad. 1800 was like bar for getting into like UCs without good grades.
Right. I'll addendum. It was like not good enough to then get himself into a good school kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Because it was always like for kids that didn't do well in school, like, but they were good test takers. Like that was their moment to be like, I can still go to Harvard or,
right.
UCLA or whatever.
Oh, and we'll get to it in the next scene.
Our school, if you got higher than a 22, they'd pay your fees back, I think it was.
Whoa, that's cool.
I think I got a 20 something or I don't know.
18
something.
I got an 18.
I did not get a 22.
50.
Oh. Well, because you know how you could take the high scores from both times you took it and then add them together for it?
Gotcha.
So
I don't remember that.
I took it twice and I got a higher score in math the second, something like that, a second time. And so then I was like, I had to look at two different things, add it. And yeah, that's why you got to retake it. But I did worse on the essay. I wonder why. Maybe because a phone went off.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, I had already finished, I think.
No, it's the phone.
Either way, it didn't matter. I got into UCSB.
Mm-hmm. I did too.
I was auto-accepted. I
the
found
second
you.
try.
Oh. And there you were, sitting, waiting for me.
I was. Hands folded for 4 years.
Yeah, just waiting for me. After 3 long years of college, I stumbled into a hotel room, and then you stumbled in later.
I did.
And I said, who are you friends with?
And I was like, everybody.
And then I was like, okay, bye. I'm going to go drink with my friends.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brandon.
Yeah. Burton.
Brendan. I thought your name was Brendan.
Oh, everybody does.
But I mean, like, that makes sense to me. Like, it's better than Brandon.
Yeah. Everybody has all kinds of fun things that they think my name is at first.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, Brenton.
Brenton.
It's Big Hill in Gaelic.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's me. Big Hill.
That's you.
Yeah, Papa Hill.
All 5'8" of you.
Yes. Big ol' hill.
Well, enough about your big hills.
Ironic that I did not grow to be as tall as my father.
Very true. Enough about your big hills. Let's move back to the bump and bait cell phone confiscator. Teacher takes the cell phones.
Ooh, bump and bait.
Yeah, that's what she tells Wallace they're going to do. A bump and bait.
That's my combined bumper cars and fishing.
That does not sound good for the fish.
It's like fake fish. It's a game.
Oh.
Yeah, bump and bait.
I was like, a lot of dead fish involved in this, regardless.
Shaking up.
Or just fish down at the bottom.
Oh, God. Oh, maybe it'd be like a glass thing on top.
Oh, I was just thinking they'd stay towards the bottom because they didn't want to fucking die.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, bottom of the cart.
Bottom of the barrel fish. And then Veronica comes after school to get her phone from the confiscator and takes Tad's phone so that then Carmen can delete the video. And so Carmen gets the phone and she fucking smashes it.
Yeah, which is a tremendous move.
And as Veronica's explaining to her after school that, hey, just because the phone's gone, it doesn't mean the video's gone.
Right.
She gets a message from, what was his username? It was something super douchey.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like that term. I apologize.
Let me see if I can find it real quick.
It was not cool, though.
It does not say.
And then it's the video of her, and they're like, oh, God, he still got it. And he's like, if you don't get back together with me, I'm gonna send it to everybody. Because
he's an abuser. He thought ahead. He's awful, but he's not an idiot.
Which is what makes him worse.
Totally, 100%. And before we get the cell phone breaking scene, Veronica comes home and Keith's smiling at his computer because he's so excited how easy it is going to be to catch Duncan because he's worth $50,000. And Veronica has to spill the beans. It's like, ooh, I accidentally filled his head with all these good ideas on how to get away and hide your identity.
And he's like, baby, you go into the Ivy League.
Yeah, and it was $50,000. And he's like, that'll pay for 2 years of school. And it's like, was it really that cheap in 2004?
Wait,
2005.
25K?
Yeah.
Yeah,
A
like
year?
even UCSB tuition I think was 15, and then like cost of living it was 30K a year.
Right, but this is Ivy League.
I think
Those are private schools and in different states.
I maybe Princeton. Princeton's not Ivy League though,
Yeah.
is it? No,
Yeah, I would think they'd be all more expensive than even UC schools.
probably.
I remember we had gone through and visited USC, and that was like $50K a year, and it's like, oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
So I would assume they'd be pretty similar.
This was 2004.
Right. So I guess that could potentially be a big drop in the 5 years before I started school. Kindergarten, I mean.
You didn't leave for college in 2009?
Sorry, 6 years.
I guess that was pretty. I was trying to do the math and it wasn't working in my brain.
I see.
June birthday really throws me off.
It does. 2010 is when I graduated high school.
I graduated high school in 2011. Just so much younger than you.
Yeah. People think it's real gross.
No, actually, people just think that.
God, he really robbed the cradle, huh? Just keeps getting younger and younger with this guy, huh?
We both have baby faces, so I do feel like. But you have a babier face than I do.
It's like, oh, that's nice. He's dating an older woman.
I did find a gray hair today.
He should be graduating college soon.
Can't wait till he gets out of high school.
Exactly.
And finally go on a real date.
That's a little weird. I wonder if she's going to go to his prom.
Yeah, like that I'm young enough to go to prom with you. Okay, so Keith is like, well, it's fine. We'll figure it out. Whatever. Yep. And then Wallace's mom comes in, Mrs. Purnell. Mm-hmm. And
hey, Keith.
She's like, hey, Keith. And so they leave together.
Mm-hmm.
Keith is like, Veronica started looking at the things to try to find the guy that you just gave all the good ideas to. The kid has money.
Start trying to undo this.
And then Carmen comes. Mm-hmm. And smashes the phone, and then we get the threat from Tad.
Yep. Good old Teddy.
Which is so fucking dumb because that's illegal.
Yeah. But there was no big cases around this at that time. Like, I don't think revenge porn was a thing until the 10s. So, like, it sucks. Like, as a term, right? Mm-hmm. And as a legally
but either way,
prosecutable
child porn. Like, that's what I always think about when you do high schoolers. College, sure, whatever. Mm-hmm. High schoolers,
right?
I'm like, oh. So we go to school now, next day, right? Mm-hmm. And Tad is buying tickets to the spring dance or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, what was it called? They had, what was the, I forgot to write down the theme.
And then we get like knee deep in a fuck ton of homophobia.
Oh, yeah.
It was just fucking gross. It made me so mad. And fat phobia.
Yeah.
Oh, it was problematic.
They were the
worst. Wasn't even funny.
No. They were just being straight up.
Yeah, they were just
like
being
bullies.
Fucking awful.
I wrote down that this was, this was even before Prop 8. Like,
yeah.
This is like, so.
It's gross.
It 100% is.
And so I wrote down homophobia. Like, obviously, what a fucking mess.
Totally. And it's like he's so homophobic that like he has to be gay.
Well, and I think that's what they're trying to, that's like the red herring of the episode.
Yeah, totally.
It's like, well, if he's so afraid of it, then he must be gay. It's like some people are just fucking monsters.
Yeah, that's true. But why are you so afraid of it?
Because he's a fucking monster.
Yeah, that's true.
I think there's both sides. I think there can be people that are repressing their feelings because they've been taught that it was a bad thing. But I also think that a lot of it is just people fear what they don't know or understand, and then they're fucking monsters.
Yeah. And I think there's probably some part of him that like has not reconciled that he could potentially be attracted to men.
I think that's
why like why he lashes out as a monster.
But I don't think that's I don't think every person who lashes out like that is necessarily lashing out for that reason. I think there's still people that are just fucking awful.
But I think there's a piece of it where they're afraid of being potentially attracted to men.
Yeah, I think there's... yeah, I mean, it's homophobia.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But I don't think that they... I think some people, sure, it's like, I internalize this, or I'm worried that I could be like this. And then for other people, it's just them. Like, I could never imagine feeling this way, so you must be bad and wrong. I think there's both sides to it, and I think it's either way, it's toxic and it's problematic and it's fucked up. But I think some people are just bad.
Yeah.
It's my... Some people are just bad. Profound words.
There you go.
But I think that's what they're trying to set him up as a red herring in that way. By how he dresses.
Oh, really? You think?
I think that's what the clothing is, because he just dressed so strangely. But anyway, Veronica then is like, "Oh, I've got an idea for you, Carmen. Invite him to the boardwalk. You're gonna have to get your hands a little dirty to do this."
Right. She's like, I just don't want to end up like Paris Hilton or the Star Wars kid.
Who's the Star Wars kid?
Do you remember that? It was a viral video where a kid was like pretending to have like a lightsaber and was like swinging around in a garage.
Like Arrested Development?
Yeah, that's where that comes from. That's directly from a viral video.
I thought that was just like a funny thing they did in that episode.
No, that's literally what George Michael does is is exactly from Star Wars Kid.
No way.
Yeah.
And we made fun of that kid?
Yeah, 100%.
Why?
People thought it was funny.
Oh, well, I mean, it's okay to think it's funny, but to make fun.
Well,
was he having a good time?
Welcome to the internet.
People, man. Be nice.
Yeah.
Be fucking nice. Anyway, yeah, so then Veronica goes home with her boyfriend. No, she goes to drop off her car. She drops off her car with Weevil and his uncle, and she's like, "Hey, Weaves, I need this car fixed. My alternator's broken. And also, like, have you heard, did Duncan buy a car here?"
Right. Starts handing out percentages on this reward money that she said. Oh, and in the scene before, she enlists Mac to look up passports. Just brief note.
Oh, was that before? I thought that was after.
So she does that when she's talking with Mac about it.
Oh, and then later they talk about percentages.
Exactly. Yeah. She's talking with Mac about it when they see Carmen and Tad buying tickets.
And so then Weevil's like, "Oh, he bought this car, or whatever." And she's handing out percentages to him, and she's like, "What is that? What you were doing in Lily's room?" And he's like, "If you actually thought I'd hurt Lily, you would have a tracker on me."
I was like, Weevil knows.
Yeah. He's like, I didn't. I just didn't want people to read my private feelings. Got big feelings.
100%. That man has big feelings.
Do you think he's a Cancer?
Maybe. A Cancer, but he's got what would his rising be? That like tough persona kind of thing?
Tough persona. I feel like it'd have to be like an earth or an air sign. Maybe a fire, though. Well, no, because he doesn't instigate. He just doesn't back down. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
He is pretty... I can almost see an air sign because he's pretty street smart.
Very much so.
Probably either maybe even a Gemini.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You got the two sides. He
plays the two sides, and he accuses other people of being two-faced a lot, which usually you accuse people of like the things that you are your qualities that you see in them.
Oh, yeah. It could be a Cancer sun, Gemini rising.
That's we'll pull his birth chart.
There you go. Would Logan be an Aries?
I don't know.
Or is he not like
think about Logan?
Okay.
Because he's confident.
This is good material for future. We can map out
their
star
birth
signs.
charts. Yeah. Could literally look up whatever birthdays they have online, and we could find them.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, no, Logan would definitely. He's got to have a certain amount of. I can almost see like a Leo. Like he's very confident.
Oh. You say you're shipping him and Leo?
Oh, you miss Leo, don't you?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, well, so she leaves Weevil. Logan picks her up,
Mm-hmm.
and she's telling Dad, like, hey, this car was what Duncan bought from Weevil.
Mm-hmm.
And then she goes home with Logan, and they go to make out in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Not the pool house.
No, big one.
The big house.
The main house.
And
Shows off the bong that is not a bong. That's his mother's urn.
that his dad made that he filled with ocean water.
Uh-huh.
And then they make out. And then Aaron Eccles comes home.
Yep.
Logan's
knock,
dad.
knock.
And he's like, oh, this is kind of nice. Like, Logan brought home a good girl. And
Just wondering where you were going.
Aaron was like, or Logan was like, Veronica was like, oh, you got caught making out by your dad, and I got caught making out by the star of whatever movies he's been in.
Yep.
Which I do like, and
That's fantastic.
this is like the one episode where I'm like, okay, Aaron, I see you.
Right. Mm-hmm. Totally. On the ride home, and then he helps out when Beeve and Dick come over.
Yeah, because they show up while Veronica's in the bathroom.
Yes.
And then
And they have an agreement to not be public for whenever Duncan comes back, because they want to divulge it to him first, and then go public.
And then Dick and Beaver are like, yeah, man,
Their stock price is gonna go way up.
we got beers, waves, and cheerleaders.
Yeah.
And
TJ.
yeah, and I'm like, there are no cheerleaders in California?
Right. Why is there a cheer competition in Mexico?
Also, like, the ocean is the same. It's just down a little further.
We're here to cheer domestically.
I can't wait to make Matt this year.
Oh, me too.
Are you gonna make Matt?
I hope so. There's a lot of good people here. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
So it's intimidating.
well, and especially if you're not a tumbler.
I know. I'm limited.
You can,
I can't be a stumbler.
you can do a pretty good headstand to a front roll.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Monica doesn't see that.
So the boys are there, and Aaron Eccles is like, I'll help get Veronica out, and does like a slime maneuver to get her bag from Logan, and then Aaron's like, I'll drive you home. And so I was like, the Echo Dadmobile is like not a snazzy car. Like, it's a nice car, but it's like, it's casual.
Yeah, it's a dad car.
And then he's like, I don't know if you guys are dating or whatever, or just talking. And I'm like, is this why people would be like, we're not dating, we're just talking? How long has that been around? Because it is the stupidest thing that has ever happened to the dating world. I personally hate that. You are not just talking. You were either dating casually or you were dating exclusively. What is talking, and where does that fit in? I talk to everyone. It makes me so mad. I like, like, you're dating boys in high school, and I'm like, so like, are we dating? And they're like, oh, we're just talking. And I'm like, I'm just talking to everyone, so I'm gonna need a little more direction here.
Must have come from us introverts. I'm talking to someone. You talking? Yeah, I know. It's just a girl.
I'm like, and what are your intentions with this verbiage?
Right. Which were never clear, usually, in my experience. But I
would have scared the shit out of you.
Yeah, totally. You'd been like, what is this wasting time? You'd have been so confused.
I'm like, oh, we're just going to dance?
He just checked in to ask about a movie and then checked out. Yeah, I completely understand. That's infuriating.
It's stupid. It makes me so mad. Even in college, when I'd like bring a boy to a date party or whatever, and they'd be like, oh, like, like, it's just like, are you guys talking? And I'm like, what the, like, do we have to how do you pick that? Like, oh yeah, we're talking. Like, do they know if we're talking? Is it something we both decide? Does it just happen? Fucking makes me so mad.
I get it.
Why can't we just date casually or date exclusively?
But have date in it.
Or is this thing casual or is it exclusive?
Right.
And then go from there. Like, talking. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, we've been talking each other's ears off for a while now.
I will get off my soapbox now.
Okay.
But that's just a small portion of what I have to say about talking. You can read my essay. I would. Oh, it makes me mad.
Yeah, I understand.
Get my heart rate back down. So, then Veronica goes home, And she's like, okay, I gotta go to the boardwalk and meet up with Carmen to help her. No, Tad and Carmen go. Oh, Veronica goes too to take the photos. Tad and Veronica go to the boardwalk. Or no, Tad and Carmen go to the boardwalk.
Yeah.
Veronica sits in her car with her camera. Mm-hmm. And they have like a date day, and he buys her silly hats, and they take all these photos, and they do these very specific line items, and he gets a tattoo.
Right. Because, you make me do crazy things, Carmen.
Yeah. I was like, is he drunk? And then she's like, hey, baby.
It kind of read that way.
Like, yeah.
That he was like hammered or like on drugs.
Or maybe he was just love drunk.
I think he was love drunk.
And then she was like, hey, like, I think after prom, we should really do E together.
Yeah. So I completely missed the E part of this the first time, but then you've like had to clarify, and I was like, so that was partly of my reading of like, oh, like him being potentially like actually interested in men and stuff. Because like when she talks about experimenting and love experiment and sends him to go after that guy, and it's like, wait, am I reading this right? Are they talking about enlisting him for threesome? And then you're like, oh, he's going to like ask him for drugs. It's like, oh, never mind. So I completely misread the first time because I completely missed them talking about drugs.
But also, why does Seth, our one gay character in the entire fucking series, sell ecstasy? It's homophobic. It's problematic.
Right. So for him to believe it 100%, but the episode shows that he's in on it from the beginning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But of course, like Tad would think that.
Yes, it's so problematic.
Tad, he's just a shithead.
Tad's wearing the worst fucking pants in this scene. They're like cargo baggy pants with like a really tight belt.
Yeah.
It's like they took clothing out of like something that was Logan or Duncan size, and they're like, we'll make it fit him.
Yeah, it looks like a Duncan
hand-me-down.
Exactly. And then when he just has a wife beater on after he gets his tattoo.
And then
asks him to go get X.
So then Tad talks to Seth, and Veronica takes photos so that it looks like they're, like doing something other than having a drug deal.
Right.
Like, when you hand over money or you hug, like it's strange.
He's just inquiring about drugs.
He's not actually money because there's the handshake.
Did he actually purchase drugs?
I think he does the handshake. I don't know if he buys the drugs. I just know they do. Like, I think he gives him the money.
Okay. And he'll get him to stuff.
Exactly.
Right.
Infiltrate the dealer, find the supplier.
Yeah, exactly. We learned this. 21 Jump Street.
And so then Veronica and Carmen go back to Veronica's house, and Veronica dons my favorite outfit of hers ever, which is a turquoise velour sweatsuit. Or like terry cloth, I can't tell. But it looks so 2004 that I want it so bad. Like, I want to wear that outfit all day, every day. And I think she's wearing a rainbow tank top underneath. It's just like, it's 2004. Like, it is cream of the crop fashion. Mm-hmm. I hope she's wearing Ugg boots on the bottom, but I don't think we see her feet. And so then Carmen and Veronica call Tad.
Yeah.
And Carmen kind of scripts him through a conversation so that then they can edit it to make it sound like a different conversation where it's like, hey, I didn't know you wanted to try E and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And then Carmen leaves. Keith comes home. Veronica's like making dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, gotta go. And he's like, but I got a new lead on the car, the Duncan. And he's like, Yale, baby.
Yeah, I really like that.
And I was like, this is why men can't solo parent, which is not true. It's just why Keith Mars can't solo parent.
Yeah.
But if you're playing into that 2004's male trope,
then
I'm like, what if he had left when she was in junior high? Like, shit would have hit the fan.
100%. Yeah. He's lucky Veronica's as together.
Self-sufficient.
Yeah. But I guess, most latchkey kids probably have to be anyway.
And then she's like, I don't know, Dad. Duncan's pretty smart. He aced his PSATs.
Yeah, it was really good.
That was my favorite. And so then we had the comeuppance at the school, right?
Yes. And Tad's wearing his bowling shirt.
Yes. And Seth was in on it, and we find out that Veronica and Mac set up a website that makes it look like Seth and Tad have a secret relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And Tad's like, I'll go public. Or Seth's like, I'll go public. I don't care,
Oh, right. And a recording between Tad and Carmen Tad and Seth that they doctored from the call between Tad and Carmen.
And so he's like, you made me do this to you. Like, you made me hurt you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no, you're going to jail, motherfucker. Like, hit me.
Yeah. Come at me, bro. Body him.
Yeah. About a decade ago. Got a lot of feelings towards this character, apparently. I would have fought him.
Bare knuckle brawl with Tad.
All 105 pounds of me at the time.
Mm-hmm. Took him down.
I didn't weigh enough to turn off the car seat light in some of my friends' cars. And I was like, you know what? I got this.
Take him down.
Yeah. I wrote down things like this make me think I could hit people.
Oh,
so
okay.
like I could be violent,
mm-hmm.
which I think
yes.
we got across that point.
Well, maybe we should rediscuss.
No, just Tad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just once, like Hermione and Malfoy in the third Harry Potter, where she does like the one punch in the nose.
Yeah, that was wicked.
Yeah, wicked. We love a girl with a mean right hook.
Yeah.
Can I say?
Not all of them though. Ronda Rousey is an awful human being.
And then, not all fighters.
Exactly.
Oh God.
Wait, no, opposite. Well, I guess.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
And then do we move straight to Logan being like, "Hey, I want to ask you on a date, like
yes.
a real date, like we're gonna go public date."
Yes, on my boat.
On my dad's boat.
We're gonna ditch school
and then dinner and a movie on Fridays.
Oh yeah.
And I was like,
"Que romantico."
Yeah, why don't you take me out with prosecco on your boat?
Yeah. I'll fill up the bathtub and we'll get a nice little boat going.
Can we get a little boat? So, one time we were walking around Golden Gate Park in San Francisco, and we came across the pond where all of the older gentlemen that make their own sailboats, the mini ones that they race, like Stuart Little. And I have seen my future, and it is so bright because I am going to be out there with a little old lady kicking their asses. I'm going to be the talk of the pond. It's going to be me and my little pink fucking boat or something like that, and I'll decorate it. It'll be wild, so I need a boat. But I looked into these, and the nice ones, like the ones these men had, they're very expensive.
Yeah.
Like a couple $100s, I think, for like a cheap one, and then like gets well into the thousands depending on what you want. So, if someone wants to buy me a really nice boat to reenact Stuart Little with, I'm here. I accept.
We'll save up.
Exactly.
Scrimp and save. Forget
buying a house. We'll buy a boat. Not even a boat we can ride.
It does look like fun though. You just sit out there in the park in the sun, you drive your boat.
Yeah, and it's not like they hit each other or anything. They just like drive around with them.
Everybody stays in their lane, and every now and then there's a kid with a little boat cart, little thing, and you'd be like, "Yeah, that's my boat there," and you'd probably be like, "Cool."
Yeah, and then I'd be like, "Do you want to play with my boat? Because I'll play with your little pedal boat. Like that looks fun."
Switch.
Me being a good sharer at the pond.
Exactly. Sure, some of them would be like, "No, I'm not giving this controller up. Do you know how much this cost?"
No. Like, I got snacks and Prosecco in the bag.
This lady's hammered at the pond trying to steal the kids' remote. We're switching now.
It's just rosé. It's fine.
Right. I want to switch. I want to switch. You love this boat.
But that's my dream. So until you can take me out on a boat, we'll do that.
Yes.
And then we find out that Veronica's dad.
Well, do you want to know how also? Or should you say how?
Because Logan dropped the bomb. He's like, yeah, after my dad mentioned, like, they saw about your parents in the paper. And he's like, what the fuck?
It's like 10 pages deep.
And he's like, oh, it's casual, whatever. Like, like, so chill about it. Like, he knows what it's for, but, like, doesn't explain it to her.
No.
Because he thinks she knows or, like, doesn't, like.
Yeah. That was awkward. It's weird. It's just like, this is 12 pages deep in the advertisements. I guess maybe because his dad was looking for classes.
No, so it's in the classifieds. And what else is Aaron Eccles doing besides reading in his house right now? Remember, he was reading books. He was reading the newspaper. He's always been reading something in his house.
Oh, okay.
So he's getting cultured or with the locals or, whatever the fuck you want to say. With the locals?
With the locals.
Of the 09ers.
Right. Or he could be like looking for one of his classes, like his pottery classes.
Oh, yeah. Or like a tutor or something,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so we find out that Veronica calls Cliff because she's like, why would someone look for someone in the classifieds? And he's like having an issue with the client.
Right.
And then he's like, oh, because, like they need to give notice before they file for divorce or whatever. Like there's a couple other things.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, and so then she calls the newspaper to cancel the classified because there was only one more day left. And they're like, oh, yeah, we just need his password. And she's like, well, shit.
Yeah, he's smart.
And then we go to school the next day, right?
So she tries to track Keith and tracks his car to the hotel. And it's like, oh God, am I going to find my dad hooking up with Wallace's mom? Their names aren't at the desk.
Yeah, she asked for their names at the desk and they're not there.
And then wanders down by the conference hall and they're taking salsa lessons.
Ballroom dancing.
Sorry.
I mean, salsa is a type of ballroom, but
right.
But it was very ballroom.
Gotcha. And we're in matching outfits too. He's got the same color shirt that is her dress,
and now we know why they both had duffel bags.
Exactly. It's very cute and very sweet.
So cute. And she's like, "Okay, Dad, I get it. You just want to be happy."
Yeah, it's very sweet.
And so when he comes home, she's like, "Dad, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to divorce Mom, I get it."
Yeah. Because then he has to explain to her of like, okay, yeah, you caught me. I've been running these. I wanted to keep my options open, like just because it's been so long. But I would let you know if anything was actually going to happen. He's at least straightforward when he gets caught. But like, even if he wasn't being 100% open to begin with.
Yeah. And then we go to school.
Yep.
And Carmen's like, oh, like it looks like things have chilled out. And then people start making comments at her. And this one kid turns to make fun of her and pulls a full fucking unwrapped popsicle from behind his back.
It looks like he pulls it out of his ass.
And
where were you keeping that?
And how was it already open? It should have melted.
Exactly. I've been waiting around for. I've gone through like 5 popsicles trying to find Carmen and pull this bit off.
And so then she's like, I guess no more waiting for the bomb to drop. He sent the video out to everyone. And I'm like, that's distribution of child pornography. It is illegal.
Yeah, it sucks because it's the like, I'm really nice and I don't want to rock the boat and I will put my head down and get through it. And it just sucks.
And so then Veronica's like, well, like, you can send out your blackmail. Like, all's fair in love and war.
Right.
That was my motto. I wonder why I had so many great relationships.
Are you going to break up with me? Well, get ready, Patton.
Patton?
Uh-huh.
I love it.
As in the general.
I understood.
Not the comedian.
Patton Oswalt?
Yeah.
No, we love him.
Uh-huh.
But then she's like, oh, like, no, I won't do it. I won't do it to him. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it sucks also because it's like, this guy's going to
do this to someone else now. He doesn't get any punishment for being an asshole.
No.
Assholes deserve punishment.
Totally.
Revenge is sweet when it is needed.
Exactly. So it's like, in some way or another,
authorities need to be involved. Like, it doesn't have to be, she doesn't have to do it that way. It could be from a legal perspective.
Yeah, 100%.
And I mean, if everyone's already seen the video now at this point, it's like, okay, fine, I'm calling the cops.
Right. Totally. You've officially broken this.
Yeah. I don't know. Fuck him.
Yeah.
Fuck
totally.
Tad. And fuck it all.
Mm-hmm.
It's a problem, though, in the show because the sheriff's department is so fucking awful.
Right.
So, like, you have to take things out of that.
Totally. Yeah. 100%. Mm-hmm. And Tad just gets to get away with it. Although I am remembering one of the comebacks from Seth to Tad was, aren't you going to join the Navy? Like, isn't just, like, joining the Navy enough to get you, like, disbanded? Like,
barred from the Navy.
Uh-huh. Like, he had some really good comebacks.
Yeah, but it was still homophobic.
Oh, totally. I mean, they were awful to Seth, but Seth had some really good ones.
Mm-hmm. But so then, Veronica sees a clip of the video because there's these kids watching it in the computer lab.
Yep.
While she's sitting there, and Carmen's sitting there waiting to sneak out of campus because she's tired of people making dick-sucking jokes to her.
Yep.
Which, honestly, like, I'd rather people send around a picture or a video of me sucking on a popsicle than, like, some ugly-ass Winky.
Yeah.
But I guess that's probably why the guys all like to watch it, because it's no other person's Winky.
Totally. So, one anecdote I have about this was someone sent around similarly of their girlfriend giving them a blowjob, and everybody else made fun of him because he had a small Winky.
But also...
Yeah, just awful. It's all around awful, but like...
That's the last time anyone ever touched his Winky. It's the last time he saw his Winky intact in my family.
Yeah. I don't know what happened to him. Wasn't friends with him, but...
Check the desert. Anyway. All is fair in love and war.
Totally.
If you want to fight, you're going to fight dirty. But anyway. Yeah, so...
Yes.
Veronica sees the clip and she's like, "Ah, shit, those lanterns. I think that was Shelley Palmer's party. You know, the one that I was drugged and raped at?"
Yep.
And she's like, "It's weird because Carmen was also blacked out at this party, hence why this video exists."
Uh-huh.
Almost like someone is drugging people.
Uh-huh.
And then we get a scene with Clarence Weedman.
I think we both laughed at this.
And Mrs. Furnell.
Yeah.
Because they call her into the biggest conference room they must have there.
And I think they try and make Clarence Weedman ominous, but for whatever reason, he just makes me laugh every single time.
He's not scary. He just seems friendly.
Exactly. So it's
He's their best detective.
Right. We've talked about him being the worst spy ever, but
Head of security.
Just more and more, it's just like he's like someone pretending to be a really good, like, intimidating spy. And it just makes me laugh every single time of him, like, sitting in the semi-dark, but you can still 100% see him.
Mm-hmm. And Mr. Mars is a man with a known agenda against the Kane family.
Mm-hmm. And also, like, I know he's trying to be like, "Oh, your son Wallace brought this to me." That's a bombshell for sure. But, like, do you really think Keith would put Wallace in harm's way? Like, 2 and 2 together here, Miss Fennell, like, that's Veronica.
Yeah. Well, or it's like, oh, Wallace found it outside and brought it in.
Right. Uh-huh. Yeah, I just wouldn't think it would ever be Keith. In what world would that be him dispatching Wallace to do things?
Yeah. But also, who on their HR team is allowing the head of security to intimidate people?
I know. And to call them into like these giant boardroom meetings like one-on-one. That's awful.
It's literally like you can't threaten someone in what they do in their personal life.
No.
That's literal harassment.
Totally. And it's hilarious.
And it's like you're stalking me. Like, you know who I'm dating.
Right, exactly. And what's hilarious is that he's supposedly the security for the company. But he's literally just like
the Kane family security.
Yeah.
It's strange.
It is. Weedman. You make me laugh every time.
And so then we go to school the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And we find Tad naked tied to a pole, thanks to Weevil and co.
Mm-hmm.
Because Weevil had a crush on Carmen since like 8th grade or something like that.
Yeah.
Big old softy.
Yeah, 100%. Get vengeance. He'll do it. He's like, I don't care.
Well, and no one asked him to. He just did it.
Yeah.
He and the boys.
Totally.
And so, she's like, "Hey, do you want me to cut you down from this pole, you naked boy with awful things written on you?" And
I know what you did. You roofied your girlfriend. Class with a capital K.
Yes. And he's like, "Oh, it wasn't roofing all. It was GHB."
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Where'd you get it?" And he's like, "From Logan. Logan gave it to me."
Yep.
And so then Veronica doesn't go meet Logan on his boat.
It's the worst.
And he's sitting on his beautiful yacht with his Prosecco and his breakfast. And I'm just like, oh.
And his white.
And his all whites. He looks good in whites, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Later, in much later seasons, we get him in some navy whites. And ooh.
The movie.
We get to do the movie, too.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that'll be a feature.
Yep, it will. Yes, uh-huh.
Indeed.
Yeah. Bring your popcorn.
Oh, we should do that.
Or your jujubes.
Ooh. I was always like a Sour Patch Watermelon kid.
Mm-hmm. And an adult.
And adult. I used to really like Raisinets, too.
Oh, I can see that.
But now they're processed
I won't hold it
with
against
peanuts, so I can't. But anyway, Logan's sitting there being so sad, and I'm like, Veronica, go fucking ask him.
Yeah, it's the worst that she's operates.
Call a cell phone.
Yeah, you think she would come after him.
I would go after him. I'd be like, you gave him GHB. You're now going to the bottom of the ocean, motherfucker.
Yeah, and it might get tongue tied. Her character, like Veronica, would do this. She goes head first into like
everything.
Exactly. So why not?
It makes me mad.
It does.
I'm angered.
And then end.
Yeah, Finn.
Yeah.
Well,
stupid.
We'll finish with this episode. It makes me angry.
Yeah. M-A-D.
The whole fucking episode made me M-A-D.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my summary.
Well, now that we're M-A-D and don't give a D-A-M.
Plugs?
And yeah, plugs.
You can find me at butreallythough.com. I do blog posts. Are you okay?
Yep. Good.
Blog posts. I have life coaching and career coaching services available on there. I'm also doing a pandemic panic special if you just need someone to help you make a plan to get yourself out of your pandemic kind of funk or rut or whatever you're trying to do to get your creativity going. And you can find me on Instagram, but really though, no you, no vowels, but an O at the end.
All right.
Does that make sense?
Yes. You can find this podcast on Twitter and Facebook at Mars Rewatch. You can find me at Pyle Brenton on Twitter and Burger Dish Course on YouTube.
Oh yeah, you can find me at But Really Though on YouTube.
Yeah.
And you can find our other podcast, But Really Though. All of these are spelled.
Oh my god! Yeah, I completely. Yeah.
BUTREALLYTHO.
Mm-hmm.
Stop there. Nothing else. It's a conspiracy theory, mythology, whatever we feel like trying to prove podcast where we present fiction as fact.
Yes. Last one was a real cracker of a.
There's a cracker?
Yeah.
It's a real.
In football, they go, it's a real cracker of a match.
What does that mean?
That it's like an awesome soccer game.
Oh, in football.
Yes.
Got it.
It's the Allegro. I'm blending together my brain.
You are.
I feel like I'm in a blender. That we did, you did Nessie, and I covered Jack Parsons.
Yes, it was a cult Loch Ness monster. We hit all of it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
It was. 2 more episodes.
Yeah. All right, well...